It's been a while since we took a look at multiple solo games in one video, so let's see what's new. Hey there, Philip here from Manning the Fort. In the summer of 2022, I made a video outlining some of the solo friendly miniature games on the market. I live in rural Alaska, which makes playing solo the easiest way to get games in without a lot of pre planning. That video has become pretty popular on my channel, which tells me a lot of you are also interested in solo play. If by chance you haven't seen that video, there's a link down in the description. Appealing to solo players seems to be something that a lot of smaller publishers are picking up on, because in that time between the video and the beginning of 2024, now, there are a lot more products on the market for both miniature games and RPGs. I've played some of these and read others, so let's see what's relatively new for solo gamers. All the relevant links on where to pick these games up will be posted in the description. With all that said, let's get into it. First, we're going to revisit a couple of games that I discussed in that first video. 5 Leagues from the Borderlands and 5 Parsecs from Home are both games with extremely high replayability. If you're not familiar with them, both Borderlands and Parsecs rely on random tables to determine just about everything that happens leading up to a battle. Character species, stats, and equipment can all be randomly or semi-randomly generated. Each mission your crew goes on is also procedurally generated by rolling on multiple tables. This leads to an enormous amount of variability between games and means it's almost impossible for you to play the same mission twice. I've covered 5 parsecs in greater detail in some other videos, links below, and even posted a battle report. Note, I have finally replayed Turn 2 of that campaign after losing the original footage, so you can expect that video soon, TM. Part of the reason I'm bringing these games up again is in part to emphasize how well they embody what the solo miniature gaming experience can be. That's not all, though. Both 5 Leagues from the Borderlands and 5 Parsecs from Home now have expansions. 5 Parsecs from Home has 3 expansions: the Trailblazer's Toolkit, the Freelancer's Handbook, and the Fixer's Guidebook. Each of these allows for new options within your campaigns, including new species for crew members, escalating combat rules, options for tweaked weapon stats, PvP rules, and a lot more. At the moment, all of these expansions are available from Wargame Vault and Modifius directly. Beyond that, there's a brand new game mode called Bug Hunt, which will be published in a standalone book. The pre-order for the hard copy of that is up on Modifius' website. The book, which also includes hard copies of the 3 expansions in it, is set to ship in April, but folks who pre-order get the PDF of the game now. I'm really excited to give Bug Hunt a try. It seems to focus less on the story building elements that 5 Parsecs has in order to spend that page count on cool combat stuff and allowing things like disposable allies. It feels like a high lethality twist on 5 Parsecs that borrows heavily from things like Aliens. Ivan Sorensen, the lead designer, says tabletop games like Space Crusade and video games like XCOM were also heavy influences. One of the first games that came to my mind as I was reading the rules about blips on motion trackers and enemies popping out of the ductwork is Space Hulk. I happen to have some cool spaceship interior terrain from old Kill Team expansions, so I'm pretty excited to give this a try. 5 Leagues from the Borderlands also has an expansion called The Ancient Land of Dust. If anything, 5 Leagues has an even more RPG feel than 5 Parsecs, since you're expected to generate a region map before you start playing, and the expansion leans into that. There are new options for characters as well as desert-themed options that touch on just about every aspect of gameplay. I have read the PDF, but haven't had a chance to actually play this expansion, but pretty much everything Ivan Sorensen and Nordic Weasel have produced has been a home run for me. With the flexibility of these base systems and all of the options available, I feel very comfortable recommending either 5 Parsecs from Home or 5 Leagues from the Borderlands as someone's first solo experience. Next up, we have a game that I have made a video about, but release timing meant it didn't make the last solo compilation: Space Station Zero. Space Station Zero is produced by Snarling Badger, a studio made up of 2 of my favorite miniature gaming YouTubers, Vince Venturella and Uncle Adam. In this game, your characters represent the crew of a ship who have, somehow, found themselves at the space station at the end of the universe. The station is vast, full of secrets, and largely unexplored. That's because it's also quite dangerous outside of a relatively small area. While the missions are predetermined, unlike 5 Parsecs and 5 Leagues, there's a lot of replayability in this game. That's because which missions you take on and the order they come in can change with each playthrough. There's also a lot of customization available when building your team. There are a few major choices you make when starting the campaign that determine what your crew will look like on the table. You choose the size of the crew, with smaller crews being more elite and larger crews having more bodies to throw at a problem. You can also pick what kind of ship your crew is working on when they found themselves at the station. The crew of a medical ship is going to look and play very different from the crew of a warship. Finally, there is a list of edges you can choose from that give your team, well, an edge. That could be better gear or something innate to whatever civilization or species they happen to be from. One thing that really appeals about Space Station Zero is how truly miniature agnostic it is. While most of my collection works fine for 5 parsecs from home, I would feel a little weird putting Space Marines on the table for it, at least for my crew. That's probably just a personal hang-up, but it's there. In Space Station Zero, however, that would work perfectly well for a small crew of elite, heavily armored soldiers who have landed aboard a warship. I've only played a few rounds of Space Station Zero, but the variety of challenges in the game already have me wanting to set it up again and continue to explore the station. Next up, we have another entry from Snarling Badger, Majestic XIII. The idea behind the game is that your miniatures are a squad of operatives tasked with putting the brakes on a budding alien invasion of modern-day Earth, all while trying as best as possible to keep the existence of the invasion quiet. When this game dropped, I was really getting into the tabletop RPG Delta Green, which has a similar premise, though more Cthulhu flavored, and that's more about investigation and intrigue than going in guns blazing. The team customization in Majestic XIII is similar to Space Station Zero in a lot of ways. There are multiple factions all working toward the same goal, each with their own motives and in-game bonuses. Your squad can be your typical paramilitary types working for a black-budget government agency, private contractors working for a large corporation, religious zealots, or maybe just farmers who finally found an excuse for all those Second Amendment Facebook posts they've been making. Like Space Station Zero, the game is very miniature agnostic, especially when it comes to the alien monsters. While the squad should probably be believable as a modern-day force, my test games, I went straight to my Tyranid and Necron collections. There's a lot of tension built into the idea of modern humans with current-day weaponry taking on massively powerful alien horrors. That's why games like Call of Cthulhu and Delta Green are successful, and the same holds true for Majestic XIII. Next up, in keeping with the modern-day theme, we have County Road Z by Earthbound Publishing. This is a modern-day zombie survival game set in Middle America, specifically the quote-unquote flyover states. In County Road Z, the tabletop battles against the zombies are an important part of the ongoing campaign, but the base building and resource management in between are equally as critical if your survivors are going to continue being worthy of the label. The game does a good job emphasizing some of the parts of the zombie survival genre that I prefer. Going in guns blazing will take down plenty of shambling corpses, but all the noise it causes is going to bring in that many more. It's almost Metal Gear Solid-esque in the way that stealth and violence are both necessary in order to succeed. I was sent an earlier version of the rules for this game a while back for free, and while it took me longer than I would like to actually play, I can say the game is a lot of fun. Currently, County Road Z is no longer listed on Wargame Vault, but that's because it's getting the hardcover treatment from Modifius. From the description on the website, the updated rules will include a lot of campaign options, including 16 different zombie types, multiple causes of the zombie plague, and a long list of base types and upgrades. Like with the Bug Hunt book, it looks like you get the new PDF immediately when pre-ordering the hardcover, which will ship sometime in March. I may try to get my hands on that soon to give the updates a look. Finally, we have The Doomed from Osprey Games. This is a game I've yet to put on the table since my book just recently arrived, but the theme looks awesome. The idea is not entirely dissimilar from Majestic XIII in that a squad of soldiers takes on a horrible monster. The tone of The Doomed, however, is far more John Blanche. For those who don't know, Blanche is an artist who contributed massively to the grimdark feel of the Warhammer IP. He was also a mover and shaker in the early Warhammer kit bashing scene. The Doomed explicitly embraces that love of kit bashing. It even shows up in the table of contents. The photos in the book look like they would be perfectly at home in any INQ28 or Blanchitsu forum, and I love it. The horrors in the game are named things like the Oozing Bull and the Broken Behemoth. I have a feeling this game and Forbidden Psalm will end up sharing a lot of models. On that note, the game also intentionally leaves the door open to using a wide variety of minis. Descriptions of weapons and upgrades are often fairly open, so using models that are steampunk or Renaissance inspired could feel just as natural as cybernetically enhanced soldiers. The game itself is very rules light, with a lot of focus on the overall tone. I'll have more to say about this once I actually get it on the table. Like I said, my book just arrived recently, so I haven't played it yet, but it really captures a lot of that old school style I grew up with, so big nostalgia points. Once again, I'll put links where you can find all of these games in the description. Some may be affiliate links, and where that's the case, I'll make a note of it. In my first video on this topic, I asked for your input on other systems you enjoy playing solo, and I got a lot of answers. I haven't tried many of them yet, if I'm honest, but I am keeping a list. Feel free to chime in below with anything I missed. Now, as I mentioned, I have videos going more in depth on 5 Parsecs from Home and Space Station Zero. Those are linked down below. Also, I have a semi-permanent gaming space set up at home now, so hopefully I'll be able to work through my backlog a little bit quicker. If you want to support the channel, you can buy stuff using the affiliate links below, or my affiliate link for Monument Hobbies. I almost exclusively use Pro Acrylic Paint now, and have a couple videos in the works highlighting some of their new products. I also have a discount code available there, so shopping from my link helps me get more paint. I have disabled my Patreon for the time being. I ended up taking a long hiatus, and it didn't feel fair to keep charging patrons. I don't know if I'll bring it back. I have activated Super Thanks, however, on YouTube, so if you want to throw a couple bucks my way, that's the best way to do it. However, the best free way to support me, as always, is to like and subscribe. Until next time, no, playing with yourself won't make you go blind, and thanks for watching.